Julia Roitenberg has progressive senior leadership experience in a municipal government environment with focus on public health, paramedic, and senior services. She is a director of operational planning with York Region Paramedics and Senior Services. Julia completed her Master of Nursing degree from the U of T, a global executive MBA in healthcare and life sciences from the Rotman School of Management, U of T, and is currently pursuing her Doctor of Public Health degree from the Dalla Lana School of Public Health, U of, U of T. Julia is a collaborative leader who values lifelong learning and people development through coaching and mentoring. Her areas of passion include strategic planning, systems transformation, quality improvement, and innovation.
Okay, thank you, Nina. And we can now hand over to Julia. Please put your questions in the chat.
Thank you, Victoria. I'm just going to give Danusha a few seconds to pull up the presentation. Okay, so I see the PowerPoint. So good morning, everyone. Nelusha and I are very excited to share with you our team resilience journey today. And we launched this specific initiative in May of 2022 as we were coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic pushed our workforce to adapt quickly, but it also left many teams experiencing fatigue and declining resilience. So our goal with this initiative has been to foster a workplace environment that prioritizes psychological safety, team cohesion, and resilience. So today, we will highlight to you why organizational and leadership support is essential, how participatory and strength-based leadership helps, the role of intentional team conversations to build trust, and what we've achieved so far with this initiative. Next slide, please. But first, let's pause for a moment. Consider if you can relate to one of the experiences on the slide, or if you know a family member or a colleague who went through similar experiences, such as uncertainty, responsibility, different and long work hours, personal safety issues, concerns, being angry, guilty, exhausted, isolated, and more. And so during COVID, many of us were redeployed into new roles and responsibilities to meet urgent needs. The work was intense. The hours were long, and the uncertainty was constant. As we transitioned out of the state of emergency and began reestablishing our regular work, it became clear that recovery wasn't just needed for our programs and services, it was also needed for our people. Because without supporting our staff, we cannot truly deliver services for our communities. Next slide, please. This slide highlights research that really puts into perspective the scale of the issue we're facing. A cross-sectional study of over 2,000 Canadian public health workers conducted 3 years into the pandemic found that 78.7% reported experiencing burnout. Nearly half also reported being harassed because of their work during the pandemic. And so burnout is more than just being tired. It's recognized as a major occupational health syndrome, marked by emotional exhaustion, depersonalization, and a reduced sense of accomplishment. The consequences are both personal and organizational, ranging from anxiety, depression, and fatigue to absenteeism, strained relationships, lower job satisfaction, and even impacts on patient safety and quality of care. And while this research reflects the pandemic period, more recent surveys, like the Robert Half survey in 2025, show burnout remains a widespread and growing issue across Canadian workforce, particularly in health and education. So this is not just a temporary pandemic-related issue. It's a systemic, an ongoing challenge that requires intentional organizational responses. Next slide, please. I see it